feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no way.
By the DA for LA. And let's see if we can find it. Los Angeles DA David. They did a press conference today announcing charges for the singer David in light of his arrest on Friday. And they gave more details on how they're going to prosecute this and even more information on what they believe the cause of death was. Check this out, chat.
As much as possible so that we can hear the question, process it, and answer it appropriately. District Attorney Nathan Hockman.
Do I gotta turn this shit up or something?
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hockman. I'm the District Attorney.
Okay. We gotta have some better footage, bro. Come on. Damn, they got this nigga face oily like this. Douse his face with some Crisco.
Attorney Maria.
Okay, here we go.
And the Chief of Police, Jim McDonald, coming up, and they will be speaking to you. I will ask you when we get to any questions. There's only going to be time for just a few brief questions, so this isn't going to be a long Q&A afterwards. I'm going to ask you if you could do one at a time as much as possible so that we can hear the question, process it, and answer it appropriately. District Attorney Nathan Hockman.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hockman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. With me up here is Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonald. Also at this podium on the DA's side are the Assistant District Attorney Maria Ramirez, who oversees our special operations. We have John McKinney, who is our Director of Specialized Prosecutions. The Assistant Head Deputy District Attorney is Habib Balian of the Major Crimes Division. Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman of the Major Crimes Division will be the lead prosecutor on this case. From the Los Angeles Police Department, we also have Captain Scott Williams, who's the commanding officer of LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division, the Chief of Detectives, Alan Hamilton, the Director of Specialized Prosecutions, Mike Rimkunis, and the LAPD detectives on this case, Josh Byers and Corey Farrell. Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4VD, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility.
I think they're saying murdering a witness. I think they're saying that possibly they were already looking at him for underage, dealing with a woman underage, and then he murdered the underage woman, which she would have been a witness, right? Technically.
Possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old, and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged. Now, back to this being a parent's nightmare. On April 23, 2025, as been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. On September 8, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste's remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains, were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special circumstances are lying in wait.
By the way, I don't think they will actually murder him or actually go through the death penalty. I think California, just politically, even though, yes, they do have the death penalty open to it, you know, they really usually, unless they have you complete dead to rights, which I think based on how this case was even brought or how long it took, they usually don't even elect to go for that, you know? But if you've done some crazy shit, which this is crazy, not saying it's not crazy, they will.
That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night.
Oh, shit.
The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint.
Oh, shit.
With Celeste while she was under 14 years old.
Oh, so look like, wow. Chat, this is actually, we're finding out a lot. They're saying that the Celeste girl, maybe she was already talking to the cops like, yeah, this fucking creep is, you know, he fucking on me. Now, granted, who knows if David was trying to leave her or whatever the case is, but look like she would also try to threaten David with that to say, yo, you know, I'm about to go tell on your ass, right? Which already you should know, he should have knew that he's doing something wrong. Well, I mean, he should have knew of GP, like she's 14, gang. But she would, allegedly, according to this complaint, she had threatened that, yo, you know, I could ruin your music career or something like that. And he maybe in a rage of fits saying, all right, enough of that. I'm clapping you. You get what I'm saying? But damn, there was an investigation or maybe like possibly like she had reported, or maybe she was in the process of reporting that he was fucking her? Interesting.
I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste, and their grief is incalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the idea, is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke.
Did he do it alone?
We will have questions after I speak and Chief McDonald speaks. At this point, I invite Chief McDonald to speak.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences to the parents of Celeste Rivas. No parent or any human being should have to endure what you've gone through. Today, alongside DA Hochman and our partners at the LA County District Attorney's Office, and thanks to the tireless and hard work of our investigators at the LAPD, we're announcing the arrest and prosecution of David Burke for the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has faced criticism for how we handled the case and for our decision not to provide details. I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation, it's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case. Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23, 2025, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death. The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared. And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information circulating publicly. These challenges were real, and they required patience, precision, and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles, and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed to uncovering the truth. Their work, in close collaboration with the District Attorney's Office, has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the District Attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice. Also, thank you to our media partners for showing up today and for sharing this important message with the public. And finally, to Ms. Rivas's family, we cannot undo the pain you are feeling. Our hope is that today brings some measure of accountability and a step in the journey toward healing. Please know that the Los Angeles Police Department remains fully committed to seeking justice on behalf of your daughter. Thank you.
So at this point, we'll take questions.
Anything more you can tell us about the fact that she was a witness in the criminal investigation, that she reported the abuse, who was doing that?
The details of the allegations that have made, particularly with that special circumstance, will be produced in court.
Did you determine cause of death and the difficulty it was to determine both the manner, cause, and date?
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
You believe that he from the BBC, between the finding of the body of Celeste's body or her remains, why has it taken so long for an arrest to be made?
I think the police chief got it right, that in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's a type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions taken by Mr. Burke, please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County DA's office, and report that information.
Yeah, I agree with whoever who just said in the chat. Somebody said in the kick chat, like, yo, that one friend, like, there was one friend was like, yo, listen, I'm not about to keep taking up for niggas. You could tell somebody's definitely telling, but I think what this DA is kind of letting us know is that no one saw. Like, I think homie might have been, you know, I've always said this, even when I was doing the war in Chirac, and I had a channel called Crime Fails. Niggas wouldn't have to worry about snitching if they did their crime themselves. If you gonna do crime, you don't tell your mama where you going. Don't tell your bitch where you going. Don't tell your homie where you going. Don't bring them with you. The best way to not get snitched on is if nobody else was there. And it looks like it caused the DA some problems because nobody knows. There was no other eyewitness. It's not like somebody was like, nah, yeah, I watched when she walked in the room. I ain't never see her walk out. Like, nobody, it seems, at least now, seems that no one has the info on exactly when the murder or even witnessing when it happened. So he must have killed her. And, you know, I still think people were involved in the cover-up, but clearly he, you know, definitely clearly, according to this guy, there was no, like, eyewitnesses, which now makes me think, you know, the car was moved from the house. It was parked a couple blocks away. Then it was double parked. I'm wondering if he was keeping her body away from his own team. Where, like, you know, people would come over to the house sometimes frequently. Maybe he had her in the fridge at first. And then, you know, he realized that, damn, they're about to kind of like, it's just too many people coming to the house. He takes her out of the fridge. He puts her in the car, and he just parks the car like a couple blocks away that people at the house can't, you know, I don't know. Like, we're going to find out more, clearly.
People who were aware of this relationship, is it possible that you will be arresting other people within his circle, and did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed, beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
But was it determined, not that, if you won't say what it was, but has it been determined how she was killed, beyond it being homicide?
The coroner has made a determination on how Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment on it.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Only a couple more questions.
Yes.
Your investigation, and just to his question, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is? And also, if you can address the issue of his visit to Santa Barbara, and that, how does it connect with the murder?
So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today. As far as the concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's this case or any case, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Is there any evidence that he abused other underage girls that he
an investigation is ongoing. If information comes forward on with respect to any additional crimes, we will certainly investigate it.
One more question. One more.
There's been so much discussion about the difficulties in this case. The chief talked about it as well. What makes you confident you can prove these allegations?
What makes us confident is the totality of the evidence that has been obtained by the LAPD robbery homicide, by the work that the district attorney's office has done, that has led us to the point where we believe we can prove each and every one of these three charges and the special circumstances and the special allegation beyond a reasonable doubt.
Thank you, everybody. If you raise your hand if you have Spanish language and you need a Spanish language translation. Okay. Keep your hands up. My team will come around to you, and we will have somebody hand you.
Thank you very, very much.
Just the timeline.
Sorry, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Has she been missing 2024?
TMZ, who has been having a lot of, exclusive sources about what they have heard, they did say I believe on Thursday or Friday, they said that the DA were kind of getting pushed along by the cops to file charges. Clearly, charges came down today. And Harvey Levin, who, by the way, their whole operation is in LA, so this is kind of like in their backyard. So I'm more inclined to pull up what Harvey's saying, but he does have some updates on what else is going on. Check this out.
He's now formally charged singer David with the murder of Celeste Rivas and is alleging special circumstances. Now, a lot of the information is still vague. The DA would not get into specifics, but based on the special circumstances, I think this is a window in to what the DA is alleging. The DA is saying that the special circumstances were lying in wait and financial gain. Now, he is also
Everybody got a sniffle chat.
With having sex with a minor under the age of 14 and mutilation of a body. The sex with a minor under the age of 13 is significant. It seems like what the DA is saying. Now, he said that the financial gain is she was a witness to something, and if it got out, it would ruin his career. And killing her was a way of preventing that. So when you kind of connect the dots and put the pieces together, it seems what the DA is alleging is that Celeste was a witness to the fact that she was having sex with David.
Yeah.
In other words,
she was
she's not just a witness, she is involved, and that she had percipient knowledge, as we say, of the circumstances that he was having sex with an underage girl. So what you would surmise is that when you look at the lying in wait charge, what you would surmise is the DA seems to be suggesting that in some way Celeste threatened to make their sexual relationship public or go to the police. Maybe they were having some kind of a dispute. That's what it seems the DA is suggesting.
That seems, yes.
And that the lying in wait is luring her over to his place and killing her so that she couldn't blow the whistle on him. Now, he didn't say that, but when you try to connect the dots of lying in wait and financial gain, for possibly ruining his career, that seems to be where it's heading. Now, when he is charged with special circumstances, that means the death penalty is on the table. It doesn't mean that that the DA will seek the death penalty, but it...
Okay. So he's kind of saying the same thing. All right. Essentially, he was in court. Let's see if we can find... They dragged him to court today. It's like an arraignment of sorts. I'll show you guys that. And I believe he was denied bail. I mean, if you have charges that carry potentially death, they usually don't give you a bond. All right, let's get past this ad. Oh my God. Yeah, I think homie might be cooked,
Calling People versus David Anthony Burke. That's case number 26 CJC F02399.
Good morning or good afternoon, Your Honor. Blair Burke, Marilyn Bednarski, and Regina Peter on behalf of our client, David Burke, who's in custody.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Burke.
Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman for the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. And counsel, on behalf of your client, do you waive formal reading of the complaint, advisement of rights, including armed forces and veterans' rights, enter a plea of not guilty, denying any and all special allegations, enhancements, and priors?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're requesting a preliminary hearing within the period?
Yes, Your Honor. From the media reports, apparently there have been 4 months of secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date on the 10th day. Your Honor.
Okay, now that's important. So what's been happening is that there's two ways of how charges kind of like, especially felonious charges, go about in the United States, is that you get indicted by what's called a grand jury. It's usually a secret process that will involve usually a odd amount of jurors, which is usually 13, or it could be like 25 actually, 13 or 25, which, you know, they usually have to come up with majority vote to say there's probable cause to see if you could go to trial. That would be what's called an indictment. However, there's another way to bring someone to trial, especially on felony charges. You could have a preliminary hearing, and in that particular thing, the difference between a grand jury and a preliminary hearing, in a preliminary hearing, your lawyers are going to be arguing in front of a judge, and the prosecutor is going to be arguing in front of a judge. So the judge is going to hear both sides to some extent. In a grand jury, that's why they say grand jury could indict a ham sandwich, is because a grand jury does not usually does not see the defendant, potential defendant, and the defendant's attorneys never ever usually participate in that process usually. And because of that, if you only hear one side of the story, usually you're down to indict, right? That's why it's they say a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. Because the grand jury has not indicted David, right? Yes, they had a grand jury that was convened for investigatory processes to be able to subpoena people and subpoena records and stuff like that. But they've never come back with an indictment. The lawyers for David are trying to say, hey, we don't want no more secret process. We don't want you to try to flip all his friends and turn them into snitches and, have them try to save their own ass if they maybe did something maybe in post to hide the body or whatever, and try to just pin it all on him, because that's what would happen in a grand jury. They're like, let's do a preliminary hearing. A$AP Rocky went to a preliminary hearing as well. And the preliminary hearing, you would sit in court and they would argue this, but it gives the defendant a chance to kind of give, some explanations, or at least like poke holes in the theory of probable cause that a judge could possibly say, nah, you guys don't have enough, right? So we're going to see if that happens. Let's see what the judge actually says about that.
We believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that. We're asking for April 23rd as a 3 of 10, Your Honor.
Anything from the people?
We'll be very happy to put on the evidence that we've collected in this case in the last several months.
Thank you. So the matter will be set. Plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke. The matter will be set in Department 105. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida in Department 105 for all purposes by the judge of the supervising judge of criminal.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may just put on the record, we have, as soon as the people arrived, delivered a informal discovery request consistent with Penal Code Section 1054. We have been given almost no discovery thus far. We've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report, and a copy of the complaint. And we would ask the people respectfully to produce discovery at the earliest opportunity.
Your Honor, as I indicated to counsel, there's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation, counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works. I'm not able to gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel
that's interesting. So a bunch of the evidence that's going to be used that is subject to being in discovery came from the grand jury. So the grand jury looked like it did help get this investigation kind of like buttoned up, but they're saying we can't give you, the grand jury hasn't came back with anything yet. So they're still in the investigative process. We can't give you anything that was reported by there. The court has to say yes. The court probably is going to say yes because, everybody's entitled to see the information they're going to be prosecuted with.
Going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives. In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury. So an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
Your Honor, it's surprising news given the District Attorney's Office held a press conference this morning where they discussed the cause of death, apparently under seal and not released by the coroner's office, as did the robbery homicide unit to the press. So we would again reiterate, we believe that Mr. Burke is entitled to discovery. We have served the
He just got charged.
Notice.
He's not going to get it for a while.
They have 15 days to produce discovery in this case. We would ask that they do that in conscientious earnestness and as quickly as possible.
I'd ask the court to make an order today. We'll take a copy of the minute order ordering the Department of Medical Examiner to release their coroner's report in this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The court will order that the medical examiner release the report in this case forthwith.
Thank you.
The matter set in Department 105, as the court indicated, April 23rd, 2026, as a 3:10 p.m. Anything further?
No, not at this time.
Bail to stand at no bail. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so no bail. No bail. I think homeboy's kind of cooked, man. But we'll see what his lawyers have. In this type of case, they could go about defending him in two different ways. One of the, there's an alternate theory. Like, hey, based on the information, she could have been killed by any amount of people. Why y'all picking out our client? That's number one. Okay, cool. The other one could be, hey, listen, unless you got all the information that really points to David being the killer, we're just not going to admit to anything. Still, he's going to have to deny the having sex with the child. It's a nasty case. I think we all just kind of come to, terms with that. Even if he ain't killer, like, nigga, you're fucking a 14-year-old. You're pretty fucking nasty, right? I think that's about it. I do got to grab my dog, so I'm going to play something real quick. I need 3 minutes. 3 minutes break. So I got to play some 3 minutes. I can get my dogs, make sure they're all good. Did the Knicks win tonight? Got to make sure the Knicks caught that dub, yeah, they're up. Yeah, easy win. Okay, give me 1 second. Just playing something real quick.